Hey guys, welcome back to Portal of Wisdom. I am back today with another story for you. So if you are new to the channel, like and subscribe and click that little post notification bell so you get alerted when I post my new videos. And now on to today's topic. So I have a wide range of topics that I talk about, everything from Old West stories and pioneer stories, urban legends, true crime, all kinds of interesting stuff. This one is going to go into the realm of the pioneer stories, and this goes back to Nebraska in 1864. So this comes from my neck of the woods where I grew up, and anyhow, it starts out, this is even before Nebraska is a state. Nebraska doesn't become a state until 1867, so this is 3 years prior to that when this happened. And at that point, I believe most people in Nebraska lived in Omaha or maybe Lincoln. They didn't venture too far west of the Missouri River. And the pioneers that did could face some very brutal conditions for the weather and also for Indian tribes that weren't so friendly. Some of them were nice. We grew up learning about the Pawnee being very easy to deal with and very friendly to the pioneers, but there were some that were not friendly and would cause a lot of problems or kill pioneers if they got the chance. And typically it was the Sioux Indians that the pioneers had the most trouble with. So this story goes to around Hall County, Nebraska in 1864, probably before it was technically even Hall County. It starts with a pioneer named George Martin. He had established a ranch about 10 or 11 miles kind of southwest of Grand Island, and he was on the south side of the river. So this starts in August of 1864. So he has two sons. Nathaniel is 15 and Robert is 12, and they were working a bit of a distance from the house or the main part of the property. And initially, some reports said that they maybe were helping their father with hay, but other reports said that they were herding cattle. It seems more likely that their father wasn't around or near them, so they were more likely herding cattle, not helping their father with hay. So they're herding cattle. The two boys are on one horse and kind of surveying the cattle, herding them, and just helping out with those chores. And over the hillside, I believe a band of Sioux Indians showed up, and they chased the boys, and regardless of what the boys did, they could not shake their Indian pursuers. So they're fleeing on one horse, they're riding as fast as they can, and this band of Indians, they are shooting arrows at the boys, and they're fleeing as fast as they can and trying not to fall off of their horse because, it's difficult riding two people on a horse, especially if you're going as fast as you can trying to get away. So eventually one of the arrows does hit one of the boys. So the arrow that struck hit Nathaniel, who was riding on the back. It hit him in the back, went completely through him, and went into Robert. So the boys were pinned together now as they rode, and they continued to ride for quite a few more yards before they fell off of the horse. And then for some reason, once they fell off the horse, I don't know if they were just laying there or what, but the Sioux Indians lost interest in the chase or what they were doing. I don't know if they thought the boys were dead or whatever. Maybe they laid still and played dead or whatever. But so the Indians, they lost interest and they took off, and maybe they felt they accomplished what they came to do. So anyhow, at this point, once the coast is clear, then I believe the boys get up and they make their way back to their house, which I think was still a few miles away. So they get back to their house, and once they get there, I believe the family determines that they can't get the arrow out without just basically forcing it through the front of Robert, and I believe that's what they had to do. So it passed completely through both of the boys, and it ended up that it didn't pierce any vital organs or anything like that. So the boys ended up both surviving. And Nathaniel had absorbed pretty much the full force of the arrow, but he recovered completely, and Robert didn't do quite as well. It took him a little longer to recover, and then it was said that he lived, fairly well, but he died a little bit younger. He was 48 when he died, but Nathaniel lived all the way till almost 80 years old, and I believe the family still had the arrow for a long time. It might be in the Historical Society or museum now, but there are pictures of Nathaniel Martin holding the arrow that pinned them together, and the site where it happened in Nebraska has a big granite marker that tells the whole story, and I believe there's a statue nearby too of the boys on the horse and everything. So it's commemorated a few places. It's one of those early stories of the difficulties with some of the Indian tribes for the early pioneers. So if you like stories like this, like and subscribe to my channel.